Wow. Wow. What an announcement. First of all, we are going to do something which is very important to do in your network. I go off now, but I will be back. Kirsten, I'm here because you are not here, but we want to give you something. I hope you're watching live now. This piece of flower is for you because you are very ill. And guys, I want to ask you, give Kirsten a virtual applause to encourage her. Let's do that. You know, I am curious what we together can reach if we are going to use relationships in our network. It was one of my biggest dreams to once speak at a TED event. To inspire people. And if I can inspire you today, and you inspire somebody else, who inspires somebody else? What kind of world will we create together? And that's the basic of networking. Networking is not only about shaking hands or exchanging visit cards, but it's all about who you are. Who you are. What do you have to give? What are your hopes? What are your dreams? And more important, do I know that? I think the world is rapidly changing. Who does agree today with me that we are living in a revolutionary world? Nobody agrees. Oh, okay. I think, and I'll show that through 2 videos today, that we are in a very connected, networking society, who used to be a society who was institutional. The things that I'm going to tell you today are about 50% my experience and my knowledge, and 50% comes from books, blogs.
Why do you think it is?
Oh, I was there. And my knowledge came from 3 people. Ivan Meisner, Rob Brown, and Thomas Power. And Ivan Meisner was the founder of BNI, the Business Network International. And he had an investigation about the fact that 95% of the small businesses in the world are growing by word of mouth. I am standing in front of you because somebody spoke good about me. And 95 of the small businesses today admit that they grow through not Google, not advertisements, not marketing, but word of mouth. Somebody is speaking good about you or your services. And Ivan Meisner asked himself, why does only 5% have a strategy for it? Interesting. So he conducted a survey. And he found out that a professional networking process starts with one thing. Somebody has an idea. Where does it all start? When you are entering a group. You are all still. Ivan Meisner found out, make yourself visible. Visibility. I'm standing here in front of you, you are listening to me. You are maybe, he's a nice guy or not, or he speaks bad English or whatever. And the second phase of the process, Ivan Meisner found out, is about your credibility. I make it shorter. And finally, it ends with some kind of profit. Now I have to admit to you, when I was working for a boss, and I was an account manager in the advertising world, I started with this. When I talked to somebody, I was pushing to the profit. I wanted profit. I want an order, I want to send them a bill, and next to the next customer. But now I realize it's better to follow the steps to make myself visible, then gain some credibility, mainly through my giving, and then there comes one way of profit. Now, networking is all about, I believe, your personal brand. It's about who you are, what I feel if I listen, let's say, to your heart when I meet you. The goals you want to reach in life, maybe in your study, maybe at your company, will mainly not come to your knowledge, to your schools, to your product, but they come to your network. And I found an interview with Rob Brown, who says something very interesting about building your brand. And I suggest that we take a look at the clip now.
Why do you think it is so important on building your brand, your personal brand? Because we are moving from the attention towards firm, far more attention to the person. Why is it important to build your brand? And how do you do that?
There are many big corporate brands. You think of the big companies now, and people have put millions and millions of euros into the big brands. But we are people. We are individuals, and people buy people. The biggest deals are two people shaking hands. So we need a strong personal identity, a strong personal reputation, and your personal brand is all the messages you give out. It's the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you act with people, the way you look. And people buy those things because they interpret the messages you give, and they make decisions on whether they like you or not, whether they trust you or not. And if you can give a strong personal brand, you'll create a strong experience of working with you, and you will be more successful.
So what does Rob Brown mention about building your personal brand? What are 3 things he said? Come on, guys, it's a lecture. The way you look. Another one? The way you act. Another one? Walk. Pretty much everything about me that you're looking and listening to is saying something about me. Interesting. Interesting to think about your personal brand. And I found out that if there's something I want to do in my network, is giving. Now, giving is not an average word to connect to the entrepreneur. Here in Holland, entrepreneurs, well, you know, they're all for the money. They get something from you, and then they leave you alone. I don't believe that. In this society, we need more people who like to give, who like to connect. And the best networkers I found out are always very interesting in listening. The good networkers listen to you in a way that they can connect you to some other source or to people who have the sources you can help. And Ivan Meisner, he found out in his investigation that referrals are the best things you can have in your life. Somebody else is speaking good about you and saying for that kind of product or service or speaking, you have to ask him or her. And I want to introduce you very shortly to the process which he introduced. And I want to ask you, the next time if you speak to somebody in your firm, here on the university, in your studying, ask yourself, do I know somebody who can help? You know, if I'm talking to somebody on a birthday party, for example. We like them in Holland, sometimes. And the person I'm talking to is making a complaint about his accountant. Then I say, hey, listen, I know an accountant who maybe can help you. The next day, I call the accountant and I say, hey, I spoke to somebody who maybe can use your service. I promised that person that you will call him. So what will the accountant do? Call him as fast as possible, because he knows not only his reputation, but also my reputation is at stake. So the accountant makes to my friend his call, and we have 3 happy people. One problem is solved, a better accountant. One accountant is happy, he makes some profit, and I am happy because there are 3 sons. Really important, guys. If I suggest Google accountant X or Y, how great will be the chance that he actually is going to do that when he comes home late and wants to go to bed? This process is the referral marketing process. In the world who is changing from institutions to networks, this little process can help. And one of my favorites on the topic is Thomas Power. He said, the old world, from institutions, you need to have a habit. But in the networking world, where we are now, you need to have a very different habit. And he says something about it in the next clip that we are going to watch.
And in an institution, you have to be closed, selective, and controlling. So you have to be careful what you absorb. You have to be very selective what you absorb and the people you connect with, and you have to be in control of everything. Because public policy demands it, shareholders demand it, staff demand it, the law demands it. That's institutional thinking. When you jump into a network, you have to change all of those things. You have to be open, you have to accept everything that comes at you, you have to be random, the disorder that things arrive in your life, completely chaotic, and you have to be supportive of everyone around you. So I'm very fascinated by the idea of network thinking and institutional thinking, and I think we're transitioning from institutional thinking to network thinking in this century.
You know, where we are today is one of the largest institutions in this region. I'm speaking to students a lot about networking and networking 2.0, and I ask them, where are we and how do you have to act in this institution? And they tell me they have to act, like Thomas says, closed, selective and controlling. Shell, Philips, gemeente Enschede. Most of the time still in our century, they are closed, they open the doors whenever they want, they select for you what you are going to do, and they control if you do it. Now when you want to behave like a networker, says Thomas, you have to be open, you have to be random, and most of all you have to be supportive. Open to everything, random in whenever moment, through Twitter, SMS or WhatsApp it comes to you, and you have the standard attitude to be supportive. And what I want to do is today invite you all to check yourself. How do you think? Because in this world, who has already changed, and the social media is telling us this, we need more and more people who can act and help and give through this attitude. If you remember one thing of today, and I know, the rest of the speakers will give you great information, the best thing you can do is to get something out of it and think of somebody else who can profit from one of the things that you learned today. And my great passion and the fact that I'm on fire for networking is the fact that we need each other, that we have to stand united in the challenging situations of today. So I want to invite you all, please connect with me through LinkedIn, through Facebook, Twitter, whatever your platform is. Call me, and please come to my office in the center of Enschede, that we can have a chat, that I can listen to you, that I can maybe help you through my network. Because I believe that we start listening and giving to each other, we can reach every goal in life. Thank you very much.